It is 7:01 on Tuesday, October 13th. And at this time, I'm going to bring the Board of Supervisors meeting to order. And I welcome everybody who has joined us tonight. On this call tonight is myself, Jim Marks, as chairman, Spencer Claypool is vice chairman, Rick Sheeler is supervisor, along with Supervisor Rebecca Elliott. Harvey Greenwell at this time is absent, but I will keep an eye on him, see if he joins us. In your packet are the minutes of the September 28, 2020 meeting. Do I have any comments or corrections on the minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 28, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
Spencer made the motion. Rebecca seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have unpaid bills totaling $69,101. And since the last meeting, have a list of paid bills and payroll totaling $112,452. Do I have any comments or questions on the bills? Any comments from the public on the bills? The bills were posted to the township website. If anybody has any questions on what was there, please unmute yourself at this time, identify yourself, and ask your question. Hearing no comment, I'm going to ask for a motion to pay the $69,101 and acknowledge the $112,452 of payroll and paid items since the last meeting.
So moved.
Rick made the motion. I'm sorry, Rebecca seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bills are paid. Developers bills. Any comments on the developers bill? Hearing none, we'll move on to subdivision and land development. There is nothing under that heading tonight. So we're going to move past new business, nothing under there. We're going to go to old business. And for this, I talked to Erica earlier, and there's been some updates to it. So I'm going to ask her to bring us up to speed on what has been occurring. And this is in regards to picking the color of the siding and also some payments that are due the contractor. So Erica, want to take over?
Okay, thank you. As we have discussed, the color for the siding at Fernbrook Lodge was between a few choices. In the past 2 weeks, we had developed the Country Lane Red and the timber bark and put that out on some plywood so we could actually see that next to the existing siding and structure. In addition, there was a project locally that used at least the Country Lane Red siding, so you could see that used on a local building. So it's presented here. Chairman Marks is putting a few pictures up to see the really the status of what has been done by our contractor Barclay Construction thus far, removing siding and certainly making some progress on the project. In terms of the color choice, the Country Lane Red for the supplier that Barclay was checking into did not have this readily available. So there was a change order put forward that was discussed prior about a increase of $5,000 for the Country Lane Red selection of color, and that there would be a lead time on that. We were working on a few things to see if there was some ability to try and work through that, but it appears that for the siding and the trim to all be in one cohesive color of that Country Lane Red, that $5,000 change order essentially is that. And then the timber bark is another option that would not be the additional cost. And I believe that was in stock, but the Country Lane Red is not. So that's one aspect of the change order here that is presented. Another aspect is a request to extend the project period out to January 29th, to 2021. And that's really pursuant to the lead time on the siding. And also, we're also waiting on windows as well to take care of that. The third item is the removal of siding, exposed some areas where there was not framing and some structural support. So there was a change order, a portion of this change order put forward that amounted to $7,416. We are looking into that a little further. We had asked for some supporting information regarding that and some other items which we were looking to have minor but deleted for some cost savings. So that aspect. So this evening, we're looking at the $5,000 for the Country Lane Red, if that's the desire. Timber bark is an option. And then I think the contract extension is reasonable, but we are looking into that $7,416 change order regarding the structural items that they had put forth, just to get some clarification on a few things.
Any questions from the board? Comments from the board?
Well, the structural upgrades are a necessity. We can't do without them, correct?
I would agree that exposing the areas that there are some items that we're definitely going to have to address that. It's to what end? We were looking for some additional supporting information for the change order that was presented so that we could accept a number that I think that we're comfortable with. So that information, I did express that to the contractor.
Rick, you have any comments? Or Spencer?
No, no, not at this time. I would just
Okay.
make a comment about the color of the siding, that if we do not go with the red siding, everything in the soffit area and the doors and so forth currently are painted in the color to match the siding. And if we were to go with the other color, having looked at it, we'd probably have to do a lot of painting to bring things into conformity to what's out there.
So you're saying the red is the most, makes the most sense?
At this point, in my opinion, I believe it does.
All right, so we need a motion. We're looking to a motion to approve the change order, increasing the contract to $136,416, and at the same time extending the contract to January 29th, 2021.
So moved.
Rick made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And Spencer seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the motion passes. And then we have a second topic under this is the payment to the contractor. Erica, you want to bring us up to speed on that one?
Sure. We received the first payment application. We received it last week. We are reviewing the required payroll certification forms that go along with that payment application. The payment application itself is looking at a total of $32,886. There certainly is work that has been accomplished by the contractor, and we are working with them to verify a few things within the payroll certificate and within the documents that go along with that payment request. So I would recommend, if we acknowledge receipt, we'll take care of squaring everything away and then move forward from there.
Any comments from the public on it?
Yes. Jim, I've got pictures of the structure as it was going on, and I just have a few comments. I can't believe that we let these guys go ahead without having the colors established.
Brian McNamara, correct?
Correct.
All right, thanks.
And I have pictures of it, and I kind of was disappointed in the contractor not covering. They left the insulation open to the weather for probably a week and a half from my pictures. And I obviously wasn't there when it started, but I just can't imagine that we'd have let the contract without having the color established. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I'd love to see their structural stuff, because a lot of the areas I saw that looked kind of suspect to me, you could see the back of them from in the basement in different places. So I don't know, why they didn't have the structural stuff in their bid.
Well, let me address your one comment, Brian, as far as the covering of the insulation. I stopped out there the one day, and the morning I stopped out, I took photos. I forwarded them to the office, and that afternoon they were out there putting the plastic up. So it's a matter of, they should have, yes, I agree, that should have been done immediately, but it wasn't. But it was rectified before we got all this rain this past weekend. As far as the structural support, I'm not the architect, and I'm only speaking from my own experience. If it's not spelled out in the contract, which I'm not sure if it was or wasn't, then it's going to come up as an extra as it has.
Now, I guess our argument then would be with the architect, I guess. In other words, can you still hear me or am I off? Okay. On that lower level, you could see a lot of kind of strange things on the back. And it would be interesting, Rick, at some point, I'd love to meet with you and see the dates and times on my pictures versus
Brian,
yours.
first of all, I'm not on the committee. I'm just trying
okay.
from a supervisor standpoint to keep an eye on things. And, you know, I would not have a problem, but again, I'm not part of the subcommittee for this. I'm just trying to keep an oversight on it.
Well, I'm definitely just a citizen walking through the park one day. But, you know, it just seems to me that I just can't believe that we didn't have the color settled before we started. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. But
Any other comments from the public?
Hey, Jim, this is Vince Cordaro.
Hey, Vince.
Was it part of the plan to remove the door from the kitchen? Was that part of see the picture you're showing now? There used to be a door there with steps coming down.
That was something that was discussed out on the site during the pre-construction.
Yes.
And it was commented upon by the people there that the steps were in such bad condition and the door wasn't of much use. And it would have been better and safer and so forth just to remove the door.
Okay, I'm not sure what I mean, well, I guess the purpose of the kitchen, there's no other exit then, right? That was the only exit out of the kitchen. Maybe we should have a little more discussion before we boarded up the door. But I'll leave it at that.
I think somebody should have asked the fire marshal.
All right, moving on to administration. Supervisors reports. Rebecca, do you have anything?
Yes, there was a concern voiced about the East Hofecker Road going to Route 100, going eastbound, westbound, approaching Route 100 again. And the explanation that Kemp Road and Lenape Crossing are the only other access routes to Route 100 seem to not be acceptable. And there was a picture of the cars backed up, and the suggestion that was made was to create two westbound lanes approaching Route 100, one so that the traffic can turn left and one that the traffic can turn right. So I ran that across y'all through an email, and Erica was wondering if you had any updates about the McMahon Associates taking on this project. And just the one other thing is, I would like to add this to our action item list. So Erica, do you have any updates with McMahon?
You know, because the Artisan Group was in with their East Village proposal and then in with the West Village proposal recently from a planning perspective, I know that Artisan reached out for the background information from McMahon. I know in working with John Urich, he and I have talked about this intersection, what had happened and transpired with Caribou and the development when that was contemplated for this light and this entire corridor and that intersection specifically. So, you know, he's definitely aware of, you know, the issue, was very interested in what was going on with those plans. Now that is, you know, a completely, you know, separate planning process with the developer that is, requires more time and attention, of course. So that was a discussion I had that was more recent. But, as an interim solution, not related to, actually a light there, I think, what is proposed, nothing is cheap, that is for sure. It takes a lot of attention and is expensive. But having the conversation, I realize that this intersection is of high visibility and great importance. And so recognizing that, I can have a conversation with John Urich in that respect, apart from, really looking at what's going to be happening if a developer is looking at that as far as, a condition of, improving that area for the purposes of their development.
I can appreciate that. Aside, because that development has not been approved, though, and we still have the traffic problem for so long.
Mhm.
I wonder if we need a vote from the board, whether or not we should proceed or how this should go forward. But it's a problem that keeps surfacing, and it really, and now there are pictures, and we have a problem on our hands there with this intersection, East Hofecker Road.
It has always been a problem. Certainly it was identified in the traffic study done by the Pottstown Metropolitan Regional Planning Commission. It was one of their top 18 problem intersections in the region, mainly identifying it for the purpose of pointing it out. So when, like Erica said, when development comes in, we can do something about it. Our resources to tackle that alone would be insufficient. Certainly. So I'm not sure what, and I guess we'll wait and see what McMahon says as far as any kind of steps that we can take to kind of mitigate those problems. We did it a few years ago, if you remember, when we made the right turn only coming out of Hofecker. Maybe there's something else that can be done. So I guess we should wait for McMahon to weigh in here.
Well, that was the West Hofecker Road side, and that was after a car crash and so forth. But yeah, if we need a solution to this. So is it okay to put it on the action item list?
I don't know that we really have an action item list other than what Erica puts on her list. We haven't, since Erica started, we haven't really maintained a action item list, but certainly something that Erica is going to put on her list to work forward on.
I will. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I could definitely speak with John, and he is he's aware of how significant it is for a developer, what it would take in terms of timing, but really bringing up what do we do, what could we do or can we do as a municipality now with the resources we may have, or just try to think creatively. Maybe he has something that he would have in mind, at least for some thought, and to give it to speak about it now and think about action steps.
So Rebecca, let me ask you this: what's the complaint? That the traffic's backed up? I mean, there has been accidents there for a while, I guess, but
forever. The main and there was a picture taken of the especially at rush hour. If a person is making a left turn or a southbound turn onto Route 100, and the traffic is real bad, then the traffic on East Hofecker Road backs up halfway up the hill, and people who want to make a right-hand turn are prohibited because of this backup. And they just a way to be able to have the right, turning north onto Route 100 for those drivers to be able to do that instead of waiting in a long line during rush hour.
All right, Erica has
I understand.
task. All right, good. Rebecca, anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Rick, do you have anything?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Spencer, do you have anything?
No, I don't, not tonight.
I believe Harvey did join us. Harvey, are you on?
Yes?
Do you have anything?
No, I do not.
Okay, very good. And I do not have anything either. So let's move on to manager's report. Erica.
All right, thank you. Recent COVID update, Governor Wolf's office did update the gathering limits in effect Friday, October 9th, and this allows larger crowds at a range of events, including school sports. Those guidelines can be found on the Commonwealth of PA website, the process to reopen Pennsylvania. We are working on the 2021 budget. We have formulated a draft, and we'll be having a budget workshop Thursday, October 15th at 8:30 a.m. at the Township Building. We want to thank Tredyffrin Township. They actually renovated their existing township building, and they were in an office space. They had nearly brand new furniture, essentially cabinets for plans and the filing of variety of plans and applications as they come in. They're sometimes, thousands of dollars to get these units, and they offered them at no cost to area townships. So want to thank Tredyffrin for that, and also thank our road crew. They were out today helping to bring some of that furniture into the township building so we can help maintain our files and improve the functionality of the township. As far as grant award announcements, some good news on some monies that were received. The open space acquisition for the Miller property, PADCNR announced the award of $77,800 for the 2 parcels along Chestnut Hill Road, and that expands Coventry Woods to 702 acres. And that is in addition to a grant through Chester County. So thank you, Chris Washburn. I know he has spent a great deal of time on this project and his leadership with the Open Space Board. The Riverside Boat Dock, PADCNR also announced a grant award for $62,000 through their Keystone Park and Conservation Fund for the boat dock project. So the total project cost is $133,000. There's grant money through the Health and Wellness Foundation, the Schuylkill River Greenways Association, and I know Take It Outdoors Adventures, Noah Phillips had started his kayak rental business and excursions and doing that this past summer. So that's a really great news that we can get this all geared up. And again, thank you, Jay Erb, Parks and Recreation Commission, and Michael Lane as well for his support and his coordination and efforts to help us get these projects to a reality. Last thing, Hanover Meadows. We did not get to do a proper ribbon cutting, an announcement for all the work that was done for the park in relation to the Public Works facility. And there will be a ribbon cutting hosted by the Parks and Recreation Commission on Saturday, October 31st. And that'll be 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll have brief remarks, cut a ribbon, and do some guided walks of the trail. That's what I have for tonight.
Hey, Erica, it's John Worth. I just a question about the grant for the boat dock.
Yes.
Who was that from DCNR? Did you say? Is that correct?
Yes, there's a grant through DCNR. I missed an important one. There's grant through that, and also the PA Fish and Boat Commission.
Right.
They had they're providing, let's see, $29,750 as well.
Yeah, no, that's great because I know Parks and Rec has been working on that for a long time.
Definitely.
Excellent, thank you.
Sure.
Adam, our stand-in solicitor tonight, do you have anything for the board? Or
I do not, Jim. Thank you.
okay, thanks, Adam. Appreciate you joining us here tonight.
My pleasure.
Okay, we're gonna move on to public comment. Does
Hey,
anybody have
Jim, it's John Worth again.
Yeah,
I just
John.
wanted to mention for anyone who hasn't been over to Kenilworth Park, the butterfly garden there as you're driving in toward the baseball field, has been planted or replanted, I guess I should say, based on, volunteers from both Parks and Recreation as well as the Environmental Advisory Council. We've loaded it up with a lot of native plants that are going to be really good for butterflies and other pollinators. So anyone who gets a chance to drive by, take a look. It looks very different than it has in recent months.
Good. Thanks, John. Any other public comment? If you have a comment, please unmute yourself and identify yourself and make your comment at this time.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, Eric Severin. I believe I sent you an email. I don't know if you received it on Friday regarding recreational vehicles and boats being parked on township roads.
I did not get that email. No, sorry, Eric.
I apologize, but I wanted to bring that up. I'm thinking we have a personal issue, I guess, in our local area, but I'd like to propose something because I think it's a bad look for the township, having boats and RVs parked on township roads for any length of time. And I'd like to propose maybe limiting the time that they might be on the roads because I think it's actually a safety issue.
Let me ask our officer in charge, Matt Diker. Matt, do you have a comment on that? Is that something that a township can limit?
I guess if something was put in place by a township ordinance, it could. I'd have to look into it a little further just to see. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, if as long as the vehicle, the trailer is registered at this point in time and everything is good that way, then it could be temporarily parked there outside of a residence.
Okay, I don't think that there's anything in the ordinance currently. But that's what I guess I'm trying to bring up, to limit the amount of time a boat or RV could be there. Again, this is a safety and an issue. I think, maybe the township might want to look at as far as the way it looks, having boats and RVs on the township roads.
Jim, it's Charlie Walker. I'd like to second Eric's comments, and maybe the email might have went to your junk email or something.
Maybe, yeah.
But
I'm sorry,
Eric, if you're on, you might want to let them know your email later or something.
Yeah, actually, I'll look up your email again, Jim, and I'll resend it to you if you like.
Sure, yeah. Jim Marks at northcoventry.us.
Okay, that's the one I believe I have, but I'll try it again.
Okay. Or if not, copy Erica on it too. She'll get it for sure.
Hi, good evening. It's Sharon Lossig.
Hey, Sharon.
Hi. I just wanted to see if there was an update on 1778. I know at the last meeting, there was some talk about citations and so forth, and I was wondering if there was an update.
Hi, Sharon. Good evening. Hi. Spoke to Chuck Garner today. Citation is in place. He is working with me on a plan by the end of the month. The vehicles are to be removed. So that is the plan. We have the ability to cite again, and we're coordinating with him directly.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else?
Brian McNamara again. I'd like to commend the road crew because on my walks, I've seen them several places, well, a lot of places where they've redone the edging along the road for drainage and planted seeds. And, in the dry spell, I guess they were trying to get ready for the 2 inches of rain that we almost only got about half of. But I just thought I'd mention that. Thanks.
The board is going to be holding an executive session. So at this time, I'm going to recess the meeting. I'm going to ask everybody who has joined us here tonight to go ahead and sign off. I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Our next meeting is Monday, October 26th, 7 p.m. It will be held here through the Zoom platform again. Look online for the link to join us. Hope that you will. And we will see you then. Thank you, everyone. Okay, at this point, the board held an executive session. No formal action was taken by the board. So at this time, we're going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Good to see you.
Thank you. Keep well, everybody.
Take care. Good to see you, Adam.
Thank you. Good seeing you. If you were on the screen, I would see you. Good seeing everybody else.